The Revolutionary War was a series of wars caused by the Patriots, who led and were primarily fighting for independence from Britain. The Battle of ValleyForge was the sixth battle in this series, following the Battle of Bunker Hill, Long Island, Princeton, Brandywine, and Saratoga. After 2 victories and 3 losses, the Patriots were up for another fight, leading to the Battle of ValleyForge.
These wars helped make the colonies an independent nation, helped create a new system of self-governance, helped get equal rights for all citizens, allowed people to gain independent membership in the European state system, and rid themselves of tyranny.
There are plenty of rights that the colonists wanted that they weren't able to obtain through British rule. The colonies were willing to support this war to get the equal and just laws that they felt were better than the laws under the British power. These inalienable rights that they wanted in the new government was more important than just staying within the ruthless laws given to the colonists. The colonists wanted to be one person with their own decisions, while having their own self-governance from the British. This wanting and strive of the colonists was the major reason for their persistence in the war. Without it, the war could have gone extremely different.
Saratoga was the battle in which had occurred right before ValleyForge. It had been won, however, there was one major problem. Due to the lack of communication, the troops placed in ValleyForge weren't told that the Battle of Saratoga was won. This was a major win, and due to the weather, their only access to knowledge was letters, which wasn't an option for communication, as it was the middle of a sickly winter, and nobody was able to take and deliver the letters.
The infamous George Washington was the troops' leader in general. He was present throughout all of the hardships and bumps in the road along the way. Washington believed that his troops could win, however, not just with him. He had reached out to people to help him train and prepare his soldiers for Valley.
Lafayette was a commander to a division of American troops, even though he was a French general. He was committed to helping George Washington and was also committed to the American cause.
As the troops arrived, their supplies and rations were plenty, and the soldiers had less to worry about. The soldiers were a collection of disparate colonial militias. ValleyForge was a naturally defensible plateau where they could train and recruit from the year's battles while winter weather, impassable roads, and scant supplies stopped the fighting. So General George Washington chose to stay at ValleyForge.
When they arrived, the troops were hungry and tired because they had just lost a bit of battles. They built 2,000 log huts and housed 12,000 soldiers and 400 women throughout the winter. They remained at the camp for 6 months from December 1777 until June 1770.
Throughout the winters in ValleyForge, sicknesses and illnesses of all kinds spread to the soldiers, and as more horrid conditions and scarcity of resources became known, the health of the troops were deteriorating fast.
Baron von Steuben impacted the troops greatly as he had changed how they viewed his warfare, their seriousness about training, and how they had respected each other. With this knowledge from the retired French general, their supplies were updated, also receiving bayonets for their guns. George Washington was able to keep their morale up, and the troops were getting better from their downfall in the winter of 1777. Wilhelm von Knyphausen was also a general, but for the enemy army. He led plenty of British troops on the raid of ValleyForge. As he commanded the troops to burn various buildings while stealing from the colonial troops, he toughened them up and set them up for success.
ValleyForge was a battle that took place between 1777 through 1778, approximately 20 miles northwest of Philadelphia. The leader of the troops was none other than General George Washington. They arrived in Philadelphia in the winter of 1777. They settled in Philadelphia so that they could keep an eye on the British troops and prevent an attack on his Continental Army.
ValleyForge was the turning point of the American Revolution, as it tested the nation as it would not be tested again for another 80 several years, as said by Hank Buchanan.
No team truly won the Battle of ValleyForge because with the training that Baron von Steuben supplied for the troops and the resistance to stop, helped them not to lose the specific battle. But that didn't mean that they necessarily won. The British also had an upper hand with their own training, which led to the battle ending with a sort of tie.
The events from ValleyForge leads into the Battle of Charleston. It began December 1779 and took place on March 29, 1780, and was when the British and American soldiers fought.
ValleyForge was the sixth battle in the American Revolution and was the turning point in the war. It is evident that ValleyForge was an extremely crucial battle in the American Revolution. The British then realized how wrong they had determined the colonists' perseverance.